It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels.
Hello! I was about to log on and get like an hour of Battlefield because I finally got kid-free time this afternoon, and right as I was going to do that, the Detachment dropped. So I hope you appreciate I'm giving up my 1 hour of Battlefield to check out this Detachment with you. I have read it, I've looked at it. It looks like it could actually be pretty interesting. So we're going to dive into the Detachment. We're going to talk about everything over the next 45 minutes or so. If you do get any value out of today's stream, please do click the like button. It helps me out ever so much. I appreciate you guys being here. Nice to see you all. I think we already got 50 people in the live chat, so I'm not going to try and read 60 now. I'm not going to try and read out everybody's name, but thank you so much for being here, guys. I do appreciate it. So there was a rumour about Rage-Cursed Onslaught. I saw this rumour over in Goonhammer. Everyone was messaging me about it. Hello, good evening, salute 07 in the chat, yes. And I think I'm kind of off rumour content, right? Like there's so much rumour content flying around, it's hard to be objective. But anyway, it's not a rumour. So we could read the bump and go straight into the I guess we'll read the bump, right? But like the Detachment's probably more interesting than the bump to me personally. But we all know that the current Death Company Detachment is terrible. When we've looked at it in the last couple of months, like competitively every week there's like one player out of 200 plus players doing that Detachment. Yeah, we'll do the Army List show at 8 o'clock normal time. It might be a bit shorter because I'm doing this now, but we'll do some lists later. Don't worry, Quay Dog. So the Red Thirst and the Black Rage will forever be the twin spiritual curses that the Blood Angels must hide from their allies for fear of censure. However, they can prove potent weapons as a last result when unleashed upon a determined foe, no Blood Angels take such a decision lightly. To the benefit of Sanguinius, a victory won through giving into the Red Thirst is tainted at best, while to succumb to the Black Rage is no better than living death. All this is little comfort to enemies facing the Blood Angels' onslaught in such moments. However, power-armoured killers pound across the battlefield, shrugging off incoming fire as they close the distance, and with terrifying haste. Blood denotes from each crunching charge as the sons of Sanguinius rip their victims apart or carve into glory ruin. At the very heart of the battle, the lost brethren of the Death Company fight with even greater fury, a whirlwind of rage-fueled savagery that can only end with the deaths of those of all of their foes. Right. So this detachment is themed around the Blood Angels, the Red Thirst, and the Black Rage. We think it'll be particularly appealing to players who have a sizable contingent of Death Company units. Adeptus Astartes units can reroll 1s to wound in combat. So that's already different from Lost Brethren, because Lost Brethren specifically says Death Company units. And if I make a mistake in chat, please somebody do correct me. And I might make a mistake. I only looked at this I think this only was published like 10 minutes ago. Maybe a little bit earlier. But yeah, I only saw it for the first time like 10 minutes ago. When your unit charges, you get +1 attack, and if you're battle shocked, you get +2 attacks. So this is an interesting thing, in that it's a bit of both, right? It's like a bit of Liberator Assault Group, which is the extra attack on charge, and it's a bit of Angelic Inheritors, reroll wounds on charges. What's interesting though is it's Adeptus Astartes units. So if you're charging with Dreadnoughts, you'll get to reroll 1s to wound. If you're charging with tanks, you'll get to reroll 1s to wound, right? Because it's not specifically Death Company like the previous Death Company Detachment. I think that's a big change, and it's probably a good change, right? So even your crappy scouts will get to reroll 1s to wound if they make a charge. There's a good mix of enhancements. You can let one of you... Do you know what? We're gonna go into the datasheet in a second to look at the enhancements, so we'll just skip over that. We're also going to look at every single stratagem, so there's no point reading this. So I think with the little bump that they released, we can just get into Rage, Cursed Onslaught. You guys can see my screen okay? It's plenty big. Cool. Alright, I think I already read this paragraph, so we'll go straight into the detachment rule. Maddened ferocity. With every passing moment, every savage wounding and crunching blow, the Red Thirst takes a firmer grip on the Blood Angels as their control slips, so near animalistic rage takes its place. The foe will not live long enough to regret their error in goading the beast which lurks within every gene son of Sanguinius. So each time Adeptus Astartes models from your army make a melee attack, reroll 1s to wound. So that is just generally pretty good for everything that does melee, right? Like, nothing is going to not benefit from that unless it's already twin linked. So every single unit, model, character, Adeptus Astartes, we're going to re-roll wounds of 1. Cool. That's notable not to do with charging, right? Like, so you're just doing that all the time. And then each time an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army is selected to fight, if you made a charge move until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in this unit. If your unit is battle shocked, add 2 to the characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in this unit instead. That feels really niche, right? Like, getting a battle shock. No, you're not playing hide and seek in here right now, sweetheart, okay? Kids. Sorry. They drive me wild today. Okay, yes, so we're +1 to attacks when we're charging. We're +2 if we're battle shocked, but we're re-rolling wounds all the time. So interestingly, you charge with a Vindicator tank, you're +1 attack, and you're re-rolling wounds of 1. There's some synergy in here as well that I'm going to make sure to try and point out, right? Carmine Reliquary is the first enhancement. So this goes on a chaplain only. So this model's unit makes a 6-inch scout move. So I imagine you give this to a jump chaplain, 6-inch scout move, and then gives them the ability to 12-inch jump, so you're 18 inches forward. There is advance in charge in this detachment, and you can, each time you take a battle shock test within 6 inches, you can re-roll the results. So I think the reason they put 2 full stops here is to try and indicate the fact that, because I think there's no reason there would be 2 full stops from this. We need a list from me. I'll make a list. Can I play this on stream this week? Yeah, probably. Do you know what? I hadn't quite committed to my army list this week, so maybe I'll make a list and we'll play the new detachment on Wednesday night. You know, so tune in to that. Yeah, so I think the reason they put 2 full stops here is to basically say you can fish for a failed battle shock. There's a few units that could actually be okay with a failed battle shock, like Sangre Guard, if they have a failed battle shock. They still have OC from the banner. Getting +2 attacks on the charge for the Sangre Guard. Pretty useful, I would imagine. Alright, Master of the Red Thirst. Once per battle, start the fight phase, the bearer can use his enhancement. If it doesn't until the end of the phase, you have fights first ability. So, cool, so standard fights first that we have in Liberator Assault Group is useful. Again, it's probably better on Sangre Guard than Death Company, but you know, there's no restriction now on taking Sangre Guard. That was a big problem with the Death Company detachment. It was basically before, it was like, you have to take Death Company. You can't take anything else. Whereas this is like much more open, right? So you could still have your captain +6 Sangre Guard with fight first. Probably the best unit to give 6 fight first to, I would imagine. Most AP, most strength, kind of the most attacks, and then built-in reroll wounds of 1. We also have Sanguinary Tear, which is an aura. It's Adeptus Astartes model only. While a friendly Death Company unit is within 6 of the bearer, add 1 to the strength characteristics of weapons equipped in this model's unit. So this is an interesting one, right? While a friendly Death Company unit is within 6. So I think you would have to give this to a character potentially leading the Death Company, or a character that's a jump pack character that's going to be near Death Company, and you're going to get +1 strength. I was thinking about this. +1 strength doesn't seem huge, right? Death Company are going to be running Power Fists, so they're going to go from 8 to 9. They're going to be running Eviscerators that go from 7 to 8. They're going to be running Chain Swords that go from 4 to 6. So, sorry, 4 to 5. I was just clarifying. It's +1 to strength characters of weapons. It doesn't say melee weapons. I just noticed that. Like I said, I only saw this detachment 10 minutes ago. So I guess your infernal pistols, your plasma pistols, your bolt pistols, they're going to get +1 strength. I don't know if I feel like that is going to be crazily powerful, because I feel like one of the most important strength breakpoints is from 6 to 7, right? Because 6, you win toughness, like 11 and 12 on 6s, I think. Sorry, is the biggest strength is from like 5, 6, and 7, because that's what you need to move through. And that's why Sangre Guard want to be attached with the captain to get the +1 strength to get to strength 7. So this doesn't actually take any unit from... Like, it doesn't take any unit from strength 6 to 7. It takes you from 4 to 5. I guess that's fine. It takes you from 7 to 8. It takes you from 8 to 9. So I struggle to see why this would be good right now. But maybe someone in chat can disagree with me. I mean, I guess it could take your Death Company Dreadnought up 1 strength. It could take your Hand Flamer... Death Company can't take Hand Flamers these days, can they? Or just like 1 Hand Flamer, McFatson? But I appreciate the $2, and I appreciate the... Anytime Flamers have a potential of a buff, McFatson's there first, covering it. Okay, well, maybe there's a synergy with a stratagem we can talk about. Cool. Yeah, let's think about that. Who said that? Has been 300, thank you. And then Angel's Fang. I looked at this and this is interesting, right? So this is like an Adeptus Astartes model only. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, that character that targets characters, monsters, or vehicles, we're going to take sustain 2. So it's like a version of Rage Fueled Warrior that you get all the time for the whole game if you target characters, monsters, and vehicles. So I'm trying to think who that could be best on. I mean, it would be good on a captain leading Sangre Guard with a Power Fist. You know, he's like... he would be already at strength 9, so you would get like 6 attacks on the charge. Strength 9, sustain 2s, rerolling 1s. It could be good. It could be good just on the captain, right? The regular captain that just goes Finest Hour for 3 extra attacks, devastating wounds. I mean, you can only do Finest Hour once, but the one time he does it, you've got sustain 2, and then if he lives, which he probably will do, he gets to fight again with sustain 2 again. Do we have points for these? Yeah, I assume the points are just further down. I just haven't got that far yet. But we'll check them. Rob? Yeah, I mean, the points must be out. They'll just be further down. Let's find point. Was this it? Points. Where do they put the points on this thing? Probably at the bottom? No? Oh, the points will be in the MF. I've got to open another document for that. To be honest, I would prefer it if they just dumped it all. Like, you've got these faction packs now. It'll be in this, right? The points aren't out yet. The points are coming at the end of the week into the field manual. All right, so we can't play this yet. God damn it! I would have played it this week. That's strange that the points aren't out yet. Someone in chat correct me if the points aren't out yet. All right. Anyway, so in general, I think we have the potential to get like a 18-inch first turn move by any unit that can be led by a chaplain. We have a fight first still available for the Sangre Guard. We have the potential to buff the Death Company strength. I think that might be the weakest one. And then we have the sustained hit 2 on a character. I think that could be pretty great. Okay. I mean, the only points we won't have is the enhancement points. Because, you know, there's not points on anything else. Alright, a Grim Warning. One Blood Angel in any phase. I should probably say that in any phase. One Blood Angel's army from the destroyed was in range of one or more objective markers. You can use a stratagem even if the unit was still destroyed, and then you sticky objective, right? So I guess in a situation where you're getting shot off the objective and you know you're going to get shot off, you can sticky this objective. That's a very good one for something like jump intercessors, you know, like, or scouts, or something that is cheap, that is often going to jump on an objective, kill an opponent, but then get shot off in the enemy's turn. So that's pretty useful, I feel like. Grim Warning. Obviously, Armor of Contempt, everyone knows what that is. We're not going to cover it. I mean, sometimes it's useful to ignore 1 AP when you're being shot at, for sure. Incinerate Rampage? I don't know that word, sorry. They always use words that I don't know. They trip me up. Okay, so in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after the enemy has selected its target, Death Company unit from your army will get the 5-up Feel No Pain. So I feel like we had this before in a previous edition. I mean, I guess if there's all... If you're using Lamartez with the Death Company and you're already -1 damage, and you got a 5-up Feel No Pain, I mean, there's situations where that could be very good. A Grim Warning is a Blood Angels unit only. Okay. So Blood Angels units only. I forget how that works, right? By having a Blood Angels detachment, units like Jump Intercessors do not inherit the Blood Angels keyword, correct? That's why that's there. So it would have to be units specifically from the Blood Angels Codex. That'll probably catch some people out. So it would be your more elite-based units, or it would be, you know, like if you wanted to lead a unit with a captain, use the Blood Angels captain rather than the regular captain because he has the keyword and a regular captain does not, etc., right? So yeah, my example of Jump Intercessors was bad. You can't use them for this. Okay, but I mean, Death Company units could use it. Sangway Guard could use it. Ball Predators could use it. Oh, Ball Predator could be actually pretty neat. A Ball Predator sitting on an objective gets destroyed. Oh well, sticky's the objective. That could be cool. Alright, Limb from Limb. So in the fight phase, one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has made a charge move. Select either Strength or Armor. Until end of the phase, add 1 to the selected characteristic. Or, sorry, Armor Penetration. So you can give a unit +1 Strength or +1 AP, which is cool. Or you can do both and go Battle Shock. The interesting thing with that is if you do go both and go Battle Shock, so you're getting +1 Strength and +1 AP, you could combine that with your Detachment rule, which says each time you make a charge unit, or each time you make a charge move, if your unit is Battle Shocked, well, it would be Battle Shocked because you just played the stratagem on them, you would add 2 to the attacks. So, Limb from Limb, on any unit that is charging, if you take both bonuses, then you get +1 Strength, +1 AP, +2 attacks. And you can use that on any unit. That seems pretty good. I'm trying to think what would be best on. I'm thinking it would be best on Sangway Guard with Spears. Because Sangway Guard with Spears on the charge would then be 6 attacks per guy. If they're led by a captain, they would be Strength 7. This would give them up to Strength 8. The Spear would be AP 3. So you'd have so 6 Sangway Guard would give you 36 attacks, hitting on 2s. You could still put Oath of Moment on the target if you needed it. So 36 attacks, hitting on 2s, Strength 8, +1 to wound, AP 3? I mean, that seems like... That's a lot. That's more than Liberate... That seems better than Liberator Assault Group. Oh, and then you're re-rolling 1s to wound as well, right? So I think that would be pretty decent. And obviously you can use that on any unit. So in the early game, you charge with a unit of jump intercessors, right? We often complain jump intercessors just, you know, in Angelic Inheritors, they're not that good. In this detachment, you charge with a unit of jump intercessors, just 5 guys. You battle shock them, so you get +2 attacks per model. I think jump intercessors have 4 base. So you get 24 chainsword attacks at strength 5 -2. And then you get the 5 attacks from the power fist at like strength 9 -3. Yeah, I mean, and then reroll 1s to wound because that's the detachment rule. So jump intercessors could be pretty gnarly actually in this detachment. Like AP2 chainswords with reroll 1s to wound and strength 5. I mean, I know it specifically called it out as a Death Company detachment, but like, maybe Games Workshop have finally, maybe they're finally sick of me telling them the Death Company units and stratagems, just everything about them suck, because this isn't like, yeah, you could do this on Death Company, but why would you not just do it on Jump Intercessors for 90 points? Like, that would be good. Do you know what would be interesting with this as well, actually, would be Outriders. Because Outriders get 4, and if they charge, they get +1 strength and +1 damage? It's been a hot minute since I played Outriders, right? Outrider squad? Yeah, so if you charge with a squad of Outriders, 3 guys, you get 18 attacks, you'd be strength 6, you'd be AP 2, you'd be damage 2, and you reroll 1s to wound. It would also also stack with the Sanguinary Priest. Oh, so the Sanguinary Priest would put you up to AP 3 on chainswords. Do you know what? I think I like the Outriders the most. 80 points for 18 attacks. 6/2/2. Reroll 1s to wound. That's like a monstrous unit for killing things in the early game. Alright, Deathless Duty is our next one. In the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has been selected for its targets, 1 Death Company unit for your army was selected. For 2 CP, you have a guaranteed fight on death. I mean, it used to cost 2 CP when we had it at the start of the edition in the Sons of Sanguinius detachment. Outriders led with a chaplain. With a scout move now. I mean, you could. The 100% fight on death is really, really strong. And I give you a situation where it's really, really strong. Is like, at the start of the edition, I was really struggling with Plague Marines, right? Big squads of 10 Plague Marines. Like, how do you deal with Plague Marines as Blood Angels? Because you can't charge them because they fight first, right? And it's like, oh, you charge the Plague Marines and they murder your whole squad and you do no damage to them. Because they literally all... If the Plague Marines don't have, I think it's the biologists, I forget the guy's name. It's not Sloppy Bile Piper, it's the... I think it's just the... It's a biologist something. The Foul Blight Spawn, excuse me, that's it. The Foul Blight Spawn always make those Plague Marines fight first. So what you can do with a unit of Death Company now, 5-man Death Company, you can just charge the Plague Marines and be like, yeah, you sure you kill me, but I'm going to pay my 2 CP, I'm going to fight with my whole unit anyway. And you could probably... I mean, you could probably kill enough Plague Marines that if they're going to fight first again, it's not going to be a problem. But they actually nerfed the Foul Blight Spawn. I think you can only give them fight first once per game now, as opposed to all the time fight first. So, yeah, the Death Company with a guaranteed fight on death is pretty useful in terms of, like, if there's an enemy unit that has fight first that you normally just can't deal with, you just charge them with a unit of Death Company and pay the 2 CP and then you fight anyway, right? Mefast says, if the Outriders get shot off the objective, after they've killed everything, you just sticky it. Yeah. Do Death Company Dreadnoughts get play here? Probably not. Given the Death Company Dreadnought a 5-up Feel No Pain isn't the worst thing in the world. Fight on Death. I wouldn't fight on Death with the Death Company Dreadnought. It's not enough attacks. It's like 6 attacks. It's not worth 2 CP. Like, it's worth 2 CP if you've got like a whole unit of Death Company, and what are you getting, like 6 Power Fists and 4 Eviscerator attacks and a bunch of Chain Swords. It's just, I feel like it's not worth it for I feel like it's not worth it for a Death Company Dreadnought. Here's a question, actually, because I don't know the interaction. If you make a charge move, and then you do Fight on Death, so you charge, like you charge that unit of Plague Marines, they're gonna kill your whole unit. You pay the 2 CP, so you Fight on Death. You still get +1 attacks because you made a charge move earlier that turn. I assume you would. I don't see why you wouldn't. Steven says yes, you still get it. Alright, and then the final stratagem to look at is Red Wrath. In your movement phase, just after an Endeavors Starter's unit from your army advances. Until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot or declare a charge in a turn which it advanced. You can choose your unit and give it given to the Red Thirst. If it does, it becomes battle shocked, but the effects of the stratagem still apply to it. And until end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn which it advanced. That's really interesting, actually, because you have two stratagems that you can fail or fall to the Red Thirst. And if you fall to the Red Thirst and become battle shocked, then you're getting +2 to attacks. So you have 2 units per turn, potentially, you could give 2 extra attacks to. You have 1 unit that you can buff ridiculously with Limb from Limb. I think the Outriders seem like the most ridiculous unit buff, but I think Sangre Guard with Spears are also going to be horrifically good there. And the one thing that I'm noticing is there's no fallback in charge in this detachment. So that is the one tricky thing, I guess. We're giving up fallback in charge, and we're getting Fight on Death with Death Company. I personally haven't been using that many Death Company models. Would I be willing to use some in this detachment? Probably. I think there's certainly no fallback because you won't need it. You might still need it. It's not like Blood Angels kill everything in melee all the time. You can advance and charge and Limb from Limb and give into the Red Thirst on a single unit to really get up the board. Yeah, I mean... I'm not talking to you, Michael. I'm doing a stream.
But I heard someone say Michael.
Nobody said Michael, okay? It's maybe your sister. Right?
Was it Annabelle?
It was probably your sister. Can you give me 10 minutes, please?
Maybe it was a ghost.
Maybe it was a ghost. Alright, close the door, please. Yeah, if the enemy charges you, you're stuck in combat. Death Company can't fall back and charge anyway without a character being close. I'm just trying to work out... Not having fallback in charge is tricky. Because obviously, your biggest bonus probably comes from the ability to charge, right? Adding the +1 extra attack. Yeah, it is a ghost, right? Who's the ghost? Probably Stephen or Mike. Yeah, Michael, you might be the ghost. Add +1 to attack. Add +2 attacks. I don't know. I think I like it. I think it's worth playing. I think it's worth experimenting. Right, guys. I have asked to get peace and quiet. Oh. Yeah, the ghost of Horus is in the house. Yeah, Horus! So... The scout move 1, it's scout anything though. So you could scout move anything. You can still have the fight first on a unit of Sangre Guard. Yeah, I think the trick is going to be like, fight first is cool, but then you're locked in combat, right? You know, like in Angelic Inheritors or Liberator Assault Group, I suppose like Liberator Assault Group, you get charged, you fight first, then you want to fall back and charge because you're much stronger when you're charging. And I guess this is going to be the limitation of the detachment. What characters give fallback and charge? Lieutenants? Does anyone else give fallback and charge? The enhancements look solid, but they'll probably be expensive, says William. Yeah, I mean, probably. Does anyone else give fallback and charge except a lieutenant? I don't think so. Steven says the scout is 30 points, the first fight first is 25, the +1 strength aura is 35, and the Fang is 30. Well, that at those costs, I'd probably say the Fang is the best one. Just the Foot Lieutenant is the only one. I think the detachment is lateral compared to Lag and Angelic Inheritor, says Roland. Yeah, I think this could be a third option for us. I think there's definitely some play here, right? I think there's some bonkers play. This detachment would still take Oath of Moment, so it can still run a couple of vehicles. It probably actually, like, Dreadnoughts, in a way, get some sort of value here, right? Like, if you were running, like, Redemptor Dreadnoughts, not that we see them very often, but this would actually be really decent for Redemptor Dreadnoughts. You know, extra attacks and extra rolls of wound when they charge. Like, if you don't like Vindicator tanks, you don't want to buy them because you think they're going to Legends. Redemptor Dreadnoughts could be okay. I think the fact that you have advance and charge is good, especially with the ability to add 2 extra attacks and extra strength and extra AP on the charge. I can't see any reason really to take swords in this detachment for the Sangre Guard. I think you should just all take... Because another thing to notice is, like, there is no +1 to wound in this detachment, right? There is no Focus Fury. There is no Red Thirst. So if you want to get +1 to wound, you're going to need to take weapons that have +1 to wound. Or chaplains. So chaplains make sense with Death Company. I mean, Lamartez doesn't give you +1 to wound, but it gives lethal hits, which is kind of the next best thing. And the Sangre Guard with the spears have lance. I can't think of too many other things that have lance for us, right? It's basically a Liberator Assault Group that gives plays into other melee armies. Are Terminators viable? Terminators, let me think for a second. So if it was a 5-man unit of Terminators with Power Fists, the Power Fist changing to Strength 9 I don't think is all that meaningful, but going to AP 3 feels pretty nice. And getting +2 attacks feels pretty nice. Terminator... So if it was the Power Fist, you would be 5 attacks per Terminator. You'd be Strength 9, AP 3. How many points is the Terminator squad again? 170? I mean, I think I could get on board with that for 170. Can we give lethal hits? No, I don't think there was any way to give lethal hits in this attachment. I mean, unless the character can give you lethal hits. Again, that comes back to a lieutenant, or it would be like a Gravis lieutenant. You know, a Terminator chaplain. The chaplain giving the Terminators +1 to wound. So the Strength 9, AP 3, +1 to wound, 5 attacks per guy. The chaplain... I mean, you get like 6 or 7 attacks in this attachment. Where is he? Chaplain and Terminator armor. Yeah, he'd get 7 attacks. He'd have AP 2. That's meaningful because his AP is kind of crap normally. Strength 7, AP 2. Yeah. I mean... One of the reasons I don't like chaplains is AP 1. One of the reasons I don't really like, I guess, like, incursors or jump intercessors can be AP 1. The fact that we can give an extra point of AP and it's not restricted where that goes, as well as extra strength. Like, in the early game, jump intercessors can become very good. Outriders can become very good here, it feels like. And then in the mid game, Sangregard, Terminators, they could certainly be somewhat good. Death Company as sacrificial units that fight on death. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think this is worth a try. I think what we'll have to do is, like, I've got a few lists to review tonight because I've got some people going to tournaments this week that want their lists on the Army List show. So I think probably what we'll do is, like, next Sunday night, so like Sunday the 14th, we'll just make the Army List show about this detachment, right? We'll just do nothing but look at Rage, Cursed, Onslaught lists next Sunday night. So that gives everybody like a week to build some lists. Hopefully we get the points at the end of the week. And then we can just go over like the community lists next Sunday. And that'll I'm not sick of it, but I am pretty bored of the Sunday night Army List show being 6 Liberator Assault Group lists week on week on week. Like, we've been doing that for like what feels like this entire year. So switching up would be great. I'm really happy they've given us a detachment that actually, like, if all these keywords, Adept as a Starters, were just like Death Company, I think this would have been dead on arrival. It's like trying to be a Death Company detachment, but it's at least saying you can play with all the toys. So I think overall, I think this is pretty good. What did the community say? 57% of people said they like it. 22% said they think it's mid. And 21% said Horus. I don't know if those people have just fallen to Black Rage or if they just clicked Horus because they don't like it. So I think it has some potential. It's definitely a hell of a lot better than Lost Brethren, that's for sure. I mean, I think it would have been hard to be worse than the Lost Brethren. We got 187 people in the live chat, guys. If you can press like before you leave today's stream, I would super appreciate that. I don't think there's anything else here, right? Like, there's no other changes here, so we don't have the points costs. I guess I'll do like I'll make a list as well. I'll try and play this on the channel maybe this week coming. Maybe I'll just guess the points costs, or I'll use the point. If someone has the leaks of the points cost, if they could send it to me, I would appreciate it. And maybe I'll make a list that uses this. I think I'm most excited about Angel's Fang, honestly. Like, I feel like I can have a character just fight monsters and vehicles. Like a captain leading Sangregard with the intent of fighting monsters and vehicles for the entire game with sustained hits too. I'll battle shock them all the time. I think that sounds pretty fun. It's definitely a side grade at the least, says Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah, I think it's a decent side grade. So I think that's all we're going to cover right now. I'm going to be back in like 3 hours time for the Army List show. So if you like looking at Army Lists, probably some Liberator Assault Group ones and maybe some other ones, we'll be back in about 3 hours, guys. Please do leave a like on the video, share it with a friend if you got some value. And I guess there's a lot more to dive into on Rage, Cursed, Onslaught, and it'll be good to see some new lists. And it's really good to see that, for the most part, although it's themed as a Death Company detachment, Death Company 5-up Feel No Pain as a stratagem is fine. Death Company Fight on Death. I feel like like, I don't take any Death Company in my current list. I don't think I was running any Death Company in Liberator Assault Group either. Maybe like a 5-man with a chaplain. So at least it feels like there might be a reason to include some Death Company now. Whereas before, kind of felt like you were just always better taking Sangregard, right? And I mean, I think you possibly still are. But I suppose the one thing we didn't touch on is if you have the Lamartes block, yeah, if you have the Lamartes plus 10, and the Death Company being led by Lamartes can get +2 attacks, +1 strength, +1 AP, so all the Chainswords become an AP2, the Power Fists and Eviscerators become AP3, I think Lamartes becomes AP3 as well, because he's normally like AP2, right? Like I said, I haven't played Death Company in a hot minute. Lamartes is... Yeah, so Lamartes goes to Strength 7, AP3, 7 attacks, lethal hits. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some play here. Like, there's definitely some play. This stratagem is just very cool. Limb for limb. Thank goodness they didn't limit it to Death Company only. I think you just want to play this every single turn, right? Like turn 1, you're using it on Jump Intercessors. Turn 2, you're using it on like Jump Intercessors and Outriders. Turn 3, you're using it on Lamarta's Death Company block. Turn 4, you're using it on Sangre Guard. Turn 5, whoever the hell is live, you're using it on them. So there's half your stratagems. This is like miles ahead. Just the fact that it's going to trigger the +2 attacks because you're going to battle shock every time. So you're going to be +2 attacks, +1 strength, +1 AP. I think Death Company actually had a version of this stratagem, but it wasn't as good, and you had to use it. I think you had to use it on Death Company only, and I think you couldn't use it if they were on full strength or something. Like there was some other dumb restriction on it. And then after all that, you're rerolling all your ones to wound as well. Yeah, I think it's cool. Grim Warning will be used more often than you think. Yeah, to sticky objectives, yeah, of course it will be. Sticky objectives is very powerful, right? That's a great, like if you're ever playing Khorne and you shoot them off the objective and they just like, oh, I just sticky this objective, and then, especially on objectives that are in the open, it's just a great stratagem to have. I think it's good. I feel like the worst stratagem here is probably the 5-up Feel No Pain on Death Company, because I don't think it's massively more meaningful than the 6-up Feel No Pain. But Advance in Charge is good. Fight on Death is kind of great. Limb for Limb is great, and Grim Warning is great. So, alright, I'll see you guys in like 3 hours time. There'll be a live stream at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.